Hello and welcome to the Eye, your English news bulletin. I'm Esther. These are the headlines. A huge explosion was reported near Kabul Airport on Sunday, 2 days after ISIS perpetrated a deadly blast near the airport. The blast took place in the Khawaja Bugra area. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the nation through his monthly radio program Mann Ki Baat on Sunday, where he urged citizens to carry forward great Indian traditions. The Central Bureau of Investigation on Sunday registered 7 more FIRs in connection with post-poll violence in West Bengal, taking the total number of FIRs and poll violence-related incidents to 28. Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said the changing equation in Afghanistan is a challenge for India, and the Union government has been forced to rethink its strategy in view of the latest developments since the Taliban took over on August 15th. Now for the news in details. A loud explosion has occurred near Kabul Airport in Afghanistan. The blast took place in the Khawaja Bugra area. Photos and videos on social media show large fumes of smoke rising from the site. Initial visuals also showed smoke billowing in the area. While panic could be heard in the sounds of people present there, earlier on Saturday, United States President Joe Biden had warned that a new terror attack was likely at the Kabul airport in Afghanistan in less than 2 days, as he put the time frame for the predicted attack to the next 24 to 36 hours. The Taliban on Saturday sealed off Kabul airport in order to prevent the crowd from leaving the war-torn country as final NATO evacuation flights left Afghanistan.
Taliban has sealed off Kabul's airport in order to prevent the crowd from leaving the country. New layers of checkpoints sprang up on roads leading to the airport. The massive US-led airlift wound down ahead of an August 31st deadline of the Taliban. Britain too began bringing its troops home from Afghanistan. Prime Minister Boris Johnson have promised Friday to shift heaven and earth to get more people from Afghanistan to Britain by other means, though no concrete details have been offered. Italy's final evacuation flight of refugees from Afghanistan has also landed at Rome's Leonardo da Vinci Airport. US President Joe Biden on Saturday has warned that another terror attack at Kabul Airport is highly likely to take place in the next 24 to 36 hours. He added that the situation on the ground continues to be extremely dangerous and the threat of terrorist attacks on the airport remains high. The commander has informed me that an attack is likely to take place in the next 24 to 36 hours. The US Embassy in Afghanistan has also urged Americans to leave the Kabul Airport area because of a specific threat in Afghanistan.
A day after Haryana police lathi-charged farmers protesting in Karnal district, a farmers' Mahapanchayat is now being held in Nu.
After Haryana police lathi-charged farmers protesting at Gauronda Toll Plaza in Karnal district, a farmers' Mahapanchayat is being held in Nu. Farmers groups have also announced plans to block the Jalandhar-Delhi highway for 2 hours to protest at violence. The SKM will also hold a protest at Jalandhar, PAP Jok, and during this time, roads leading to Amritsar and Ludhiana are expected to be closed. In neighbouring Punjab, BKU Chief Joginder Urgaran said farmers in the state will also block roads and highways for 2 hours. Furious farmers blocked multiple roads across Haryana yesterday afternoon to protest brutal police action against fellow farmers protesting a state-level meet being led by Chief Minister ML Khattar. Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal tweeted saying it is absolutely wrong to lathi charge farmers who are protesting peacefully. Chief Guram Singh Jaduni, Haryana Paratha Kisan Union, said many farmers were injured after police brutally lathi charged them without provocation.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the nation through his monthly radio program Mann Ki Baat on Sunday, where he urged citizens to carry forward great Indian traditions.
Addressing the 18th edition of his monthly radio program, Mann Ki Baat, Prime Minister Modi said, "The festival of Janmashtami is a festival of birth of Bhagwan Shri Krishna. We are familiar with all forms of Bhagwan, from naughty Kanhaiya to the one taking colossal form Krishna, from the one well versed in scriptures to the one skilled in weaponry. Be it art, beauty, charm, where all is not Krishna there." He said about 3 to 4 kilometers away from Somnath temple there is Balka Tirth. That is the place where Lord Krishna spent his last moments on earth. Prime Minister further mentioned Chaturani Dasi as US citizen and shared her conversation with him. He said Chaturani Dasi ji is American and is connected to ISKCON, connected to Hare Krishna movement, and one of her major specialties is that she is skilled in bhakti arts. He had a long chat with her, but he wants us to listen to some part of it. He also added, "Friends, when the people of the world pay heed to Indian spiritual system and philosophy today, then we also have a responsibility to carry forward this great tradition."
The United Nations Security Council has dropped the Taliban reference from a paragraph in its statement on terrorist attacks near Kabul Airport that called on Afghan groups not to support terrorists operating on the territory of any other country.
United Nations Security Council has dropped the Taliban reference from a paragraph in its statement on terrorist attacks near Kabul Airport that called on Afghan groups not to support terrorists operating on the territory of any other country. India, which assumed the rotation presidency of United Nations Security Council for the month of August, signed off on the statement and issued it in its capacity as the chair for this month. In an earlier statement on Afghanistan on August 16, a day after Kabul fell to Taliban, the UN Security Council's position was starkly different when it warned that neither the Taliban nor any other Afghan groups or individuals should support terrorists operating on the territory of any other country. On August 19, when asked how India views and deals with the Taliban leadership, Foreign Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said it is still early days, adding the focus is on safety and security of the Indian nationals who are in Afghanistan. India on Friday said that the exact number of its citizens remaining in war-torn Afghanistan was unknown. India has already evacuated its mission staff from Kabul. Last week, the Taliban ended at least 2 of India's consultates in Afghanistan, searched for documents and took away parked cars. Government sources had said, expressing worry that it meant the group is acting against the assurance its leaders have been giving to the world.
President Nath Kovind on Sunday addressed the Ramayana conclave in Ayodhya and lauded the Uttar Pradesh government's efforts to take Ramayana to common people through art and culture.
Speaking at the conclave, President Kovind said, "I commend Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and his team for the campaign that has been launched by Uttar Pradesh government today to take Ramayana to common people through art and culture by organizing Ramayana Conclave." Earlier today, President Nath Kovind arrived at Ayodhya on board the special presidential train. He was received by Governor Anandiben Patel and UP CM Yogi Adityanath on arrival. While mentioning a very popular chaupai of Ramcharitmanas, the president today in the conclave said, "The meaning of this line is that knowing the whole world as God, we should accept everyone with respect. Let us all see Goddess Sita and Lord Rama in every person." To prove the significance of the Ramayana conclave, it is necessary that the basic ideals of Ram Katha should be propagated everywhere and everyone should adopt these ideals in the conduct. He wished that just like all the people in Ram Rajya were free from physical, divine and material suffering, similarly all our countrymen would lead a happy life ahead, he said. Recalling Mahatma Gandhi's tribute to the country, the president said, "Gandhiji has given the name of Ram Rajya, that was his vision of ideal India. The name of Ram was very important in the life of Papu." He said Mahatma Gandhi imbibed the ideals of Lord Ram in public life. In fact, the Maryada Purushottam form of Lord Rama described in the Ramayana is ideal for every person.
Israeli planes struck Hamas militant targets in the Gaza Strip early Sunday, hours after violent clashes between Palestinian protesters and troops along the border. The Israeli military said in a statement that planes bombed a Hamas militant facility in the Gaza Strip in response to the launching of incendiary balloons into southern Israel and violent protests staged for a second consecutive week.
Israeli planes struck Hamas militant targets in the Gaza Strip early Sunday, hours after violent clashes between Palestinian protesters and troops along the border. The Israeli military said in a statement that planes bombed a Hamas militant facility in the Gaza Strip in response to the launching of incendiary balloons into southern Israel and violent protests staged for a second consecutive week. Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett spoke to reporters in Washington before he boarded a flight to Israel, wrapping up a state visit to culminated with a face-to-face meeting with President Joe Biden. It was the first since Bennett took office in June. Bennett said he achieved all the objectives for the trip to Washington, including strategic cooperation and preventing Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons. On Saturday, hundreds of Hamas-backed activists staged a nighttime protest along the Israeli border, throwing explosives towards Israeli forces who responded with live fire. Gaza health officials said 3 people were injured by Israeli fire. Additional protests were planned through the week. Organizers said the protests are meant to increase pressure on Israel to lift its blockage of the Palestinian territory.
St. Francis de Sales Parish in Kohima town celebrated 25 years of the priestly ordination of Reverend Father Richard Fernandez, their parish priest, with a Mass Sunday morning in Kohima. Delivering the sermon during the service, Fernandez urged the congregation to follow the examples of Jesus Christ in order to overcome evil. He urged the believers to have strong faith and to remain pure and clean while being good to others. Thomas Mugg, Secretary General of the Association of Nagaland, congratulated Fernandez on behalf of the church's members and assured of their love and prayers and support to him. Madurai police on Sunday filed an FIR and booked 3 people in connection with the Madurai bridge collapse incident. They have been booked under IPC sections 287 and 304, said the police. According to the police, the 3 accused are said to be the project contractor, labor in charge and the hydraulic machines contractor. The bridge collapse incident happened on Saturday in Natham Road near Madurai, where 1 person had died and at least 2 people had sustained injuries. The Supreme Court has notified the SOP for commencing physical hearing of cases along with virtual hearing option from September 1st. According to a top court senior official, with a view to gradually facilitate resumption of physical hearing, the final hearing on regular matters listed on non-miscellaneous days may have heard in the physical mode with hybrid option.
The Supreme Court has notified the SOP for commencing physical hearing of cases along with virtual hearing option from September 1st. According to a top court senior official, with a view to gradually facilitate resumption of physical hearing, the final hearing or regular matters listed on non-miscellaneous days may be heard in the physical mode. Further, any other matter may be heard in physical mode on such days if Honorable Bench directs likewise. All other matters, including those listed on miscellaneous days, shall continue to be heard through video teleconferencing mode, said the SOP for physical hearing with hybrid option. The SOP has been issued by the Secretary General of the top court. The SOP said, in a matter listed for physical hearing with hybrid option, 1 AOR or his nominee, an arguing counsel and 1 junior counsel per party will be allowed entry. 1 registered clerk per party, as may be chosen by AOR, shall be allowed entry to carry paper, books, journals, etc. of the counsel up to the courtroom. The SOP further added that once hearing through physical mode is opted by the AOR or petitioner in person, hearing through video teleconferencing mode to the party concerned will not be facilitated.
Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar on Sunday alleged that the BJP's Jan Ashirwad Yatras are leading to a spike in the number of COVID-19 cases in the state and said that such events will obviously lead to further increase in the number of cases.
Here in August 29, Pawar said that on one hand, the central government is asking people to take care of COVID cases, and on the other hand, it is asking the newly inducted 4 ministers from Maharashtra to take out rallies or yatras. The gathering is taking place at these rallies and that will affect the cases obviously, he said. Wherever these rallies are taking place and the gatherings are happening, there will be the effect of increased cases in the coming days, he said. In the wake of COVID situation in the state, the government meets its administration's officials more often, and even today he met with the officials and they informed him that the cases are increasing, he said. There are also festivals around the corner, and in the coming times in Ganesh Utsav, Dahi Handi etc. will be celebrated in Maharashtra, he said. On such occasions, gatherings take place and no doubt cases of COVID-19 increase, and in such a scenario, there have been gradual increase in cases, he said. That happened during the first and even the second wave, the Deputy CM said. At present, Maharashtra has 55,341 active cases, while 62,59,906 people have recovered so far in the state. The death toll in the state stands at 1,37,026. Meanwhile, India reported 45,083 new COVID-19 cases and 460 deaths in the last 24 hours, said the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare on Sunday. Notably, of the total new cases recorded in the country, Kerala reported 31,265 new COVID cases and 153 deaths on Saturday.
That's all for news from the Eye. I'm Esther. Keep watching Hornbill TV.